Adam, we're Team Brainstorm.
Alright guys, what'd you think?
Okay.
Let's introduce our roles.
Jody?
I was the marathoner.
I was the environmentalist.
How's the medic? Most
Uh,
important probably.
I was the photographer.
And I was the leader of all these people.
Okay, you guys.
Alright, should we start from the beginning?
Yeah.
I felt that going into it, we really didn't have an idea of what was ahead, and we kind of jumped into it pretty quick. After the first round, we saw mistakes that easily could have been avoided.
Yeah.
And on my part, I didn't realize I was supposed to estimate the forecast based off of the website rather than my own assumptions. But after James realized that, then we figured it out.
And then I was unsure that everyone had a little bit different information that I was able to see
Yeah, that would have
to
been good.
analyze for, especially at Base Camp 4,
Yeah.
when I didn't know the different equations for everyone's air ticks,
Base Camp 4 got us good.
and I sent you
Yeah.
into a death mission.
I
Yeah.
think one of my problems for it says anchoring trap is one of the traps of decision making, and I used the initial information that I got about my health was weak, and I didn't even really think that it could get worse because it got crucial.
Yeah.
So I don't think that I should have stopped at Camp 2. I think I should have kept going, and that would have helped us.
I think something that we did well though was we compromised at the beginning when we all sort of read our goals for the trip. We came to a consensus sort of, and qualified what was more important, what had more weight.
Yeah, we definitely discussed what our biggest goals were that were worth the most points and try to evaluate the best way to make everyone get the maximum amount of points and try to taper off the lower amounts.
And we put aside our own points to benefit everyone else in the group, so we'd all get at least one
Yeah.
or two.
Yeah,
Nice
and
that we could.
it-
That was good.
it helped by having a set power structure as James being the leader, being able to make final decisions. I thought we did that
Definitely.
pretty well.
I like how we stopped right before moving on to any base camp and we communicated where we were all at.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely helped.
And you were able to pull in humor.
Yeah,
The
lightly new
situation.
to the group. Pretty strenuous simulation there. Climbing Everest isn't it?
Christian and Jody got cozy and sleeping bed together.
It was to
Up on
stay
the
warm.
climb.
It was, first
It was
level.
lonely up there.
It was good that we discussed before we chose the decisions.
Yeah,
What
definitely.
we should do, especially the medic. We discussed who should get what with the supplies.
Yeah. And I'm also glad that we weren't all in agreement about things. It said in our course material talking about linking conflict and performance. In fast-paced situations, successful strategic decisions are most likely made by teams who promote conflict because it just brings out more ideas and really helps the group.
Yeah, we saw some conflict. for sure.
Yeah.
Alright,
Especially with the oxygen.
What do you guys think was difficult? The most difficult things?
I think when a few people didn't communicate about moving on to the next level to benefit themselves rather than thinking about the group entirely.
Yeah, and also once we got up there, it was more difficult to make decisions because of some costs. We had already put so much into certain things, and we didn't want to turn back or stop our momentum.
Yeah, I wish we would have saved that one stay at camp.
Yeah.
We definitely bit on that one early.
And at the end, we realized with the oxygen incident that there was nothing really we could do at that point because we had already given everyone a certain amount of oxygen. So we kind of just jumped the gun, which made everyone else make it to the top
I
besides.
definitely think
Yeah.
that the simulation itself was just unclear as to how far you could, or how low, or how the level of your medical level, how low that could go before it became a real problem. Because you were low right
Yeah.
away, but we really could have kept climbing instead of stopping where we did.
And that's
Which
one
would
of
be
the hidden
beneficial.
traps of decision making is estimating and forecasting. We kind of just estimated okay, you should get this, instead of doing that equation that you figured out after.
Exactly. Yeah, after the fact, yeah.
Yeah, which was a problem at the beginning too.
Yeah, definitely made some
Yeah.
assumptions.
I think if we like analyzed the website and like the instructions and everyone's profile, we would have been like better off from the beginning.
it was definitely unclear for you, I think, for the medical guy,
Yeah.
how everything was to be used.
Yeah.
Well, it was a
It
little.
was,
Yeah.
it was very
It's a
unspecific.
giant guessing game.
And with the
really.
inhaler specifically, it's
Yeah.
like, all right, I got 2, but we don't know when it's happening.
Yeah, right. Like, that was weird. Okay.
And still don't know what the blood pressure monitors were. We took a gamble with that though. Didn't see any
you're trying to
positive
guess, yeah.
results.
That was hard too, because like we didn't know.
So what
Yeah.
was frustrating?
I thought not knowing so many things, so many factors, like not only were we conflicting with each other because of our different interests, like me being the photographer, I wanted to stay behind, but James needed to get to the top. But not also the weather, like we were getting sick, like there's so many factors that we couldn't predict.
Health was definitely frustrating to me. Like it was hard seeing my health go from very strong to critical in one climb.
And we didn't know what was wrong with this, so we didn't know
Yeah.
what to do
Yeah,
or like
exactly.
what equipment to use to like get to the top.
And like it didn't say, like it didn't say it was wrong, so like you didn't know what to do as the medic, like what to give us really.
Very general ideas.
We also didn't know how guessing the weather right was beneficial at all, right?
Yeah.
Like when you guessed it right, it was like,
Yeah.
oh, you guessed it right, but that didn't.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
unclear
even
as
when
well.
we
It was
like looked at
frustrating.
the weather forecast for tomorrow for the next climb, it was wrong like
Yeah.
half the time anyway.
Okay, so what would we have done differently?
I think taking it slower in the beginning definitely would have helped. I mean, it's hard to answer this from where we are now because we know like where the simulation would have taken us, and there's a lot that we could have saved, knowing like what kind of curveballs it would have thrown at us. But going into it blind, I think the biggest thing that would have helped us would have just been communicating from the start a lot and taking it slow.
Yeah. I also think like reading thoroughly through like after every climb they gave you like that analysis. I think like everyone reading through that.
I think yeah,
Would have helped a lot, yeah.
Beneficial. Definitely missed a few important facts in those.
At the beginning, we should have just set some common goals and stuck to them the whole time instead of.
Yeah, totally separate from our
I mean-
individual goals.
Yeah.
We had get to the top. That was sort of
That was our main goal.
that was like
our
Yeah.
our
primary
goal. Could have used a couple more.
So we want to add our own reflections as to how the entire process went. Whether it was getting the entire group together, time, finding out how to do it, and then running the actual simulation leading up until today. Over to you, Jody.
I think that when it came to communicating via text, it was hard to get the whole group together because some people want to respond, and then some people would be more aggressive because they had other things to do, and everyone's on their own schedule given that it was finals. So I think that we kind of had an issue there when it came to communicating and finding a time that would work out for all of us. And I think had we talked maybe in class time in person rather than trying to communicate over text, we would have established a better meeting time. And then we ended up doing that when we got together and planned a time when we were actually together and verbally communicating and expressing that we couldn't do it at a certain time rather than another time. And then that's something I think we should have done at the very start of the project.
I agree. I think we definitely could have taken better advantage of the class time.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Hey,
I think we just like assumed since we like had all this outside class time that like it'd be easy to just like meet up, but then like everyone's schedules are different and times get changed.
Yeah, but also I feel like we were pretty considerate about people's needs.
No, we were
Yeah.
definitely.
We changed our meeting times a few times.
Yeah.
I think the fact that we had so much time actually really did work to our benefit, especially because we had to push this meeting back, 3 times
Yeah.
Yeah.
or something, and then, but it's still totally fine.
Yeah.
We ended up always being able to find like a good time for everyone.
I think when we did this simulation though it worked out really well.
Yeah, that
Like
was nice.
yeah.
We just chose the time and
Yeah.
all that out. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, it's better to communicate in person rather than on text.
Yeah, and it was cool to break apart the entire project into multiple pieces as well, to do the simulation and then to do the write up and then now to do the video and then to do our own parts
and we didn't really apply the rules that we made at the beginning of class that James and I made. So none of us got baby Kongs, which was an issue.
Yeah. So somebody owes me.
What is this? I missed
Yeah,
the
we made some rules that everyone wasn't here at the beginning when we started our group.
Yeah, we just needed James.
But yeah, I think that the rules worked out. They worked out anyway.
Yeah.
Everyone felt like an obligation to be there.
Sweet.
How did you think we developed as a group, guys?
Overall, great.
Yeah, you guys are like my new best friends.
Me too.
Like, do you guys want to hang out after? Like, maybe go get lunch or something?
Yeah, let's go.
That'd be great.
Let's
Let's all go.
It was a joke.